Whitefield District Cycling Club's Pinjarra criterium. This is D grade. It's rather old school. It's the racing I started out 10 years ago. It's very much small field of riders of varying ages and experience, and it's mixed sex. There's three of us in this race. We're over 60. Have been racing for probably at least 10 years or more. There's that young guy on the left. There's Callum. He's state under 11 criterium championship. This year he stepped up to under 13, even though he's still 10. And there's 6 or 7 other riders in this grade who are racing their first season of criterium racing. And this is the Pinjarra track. It's 70 k's from Perth, so it doesn't get a lot of people. So it's still fairly quiet. It's fairly straightforward criterium. Industrial area. There's not we don't see a car in the whole race. It's just nice and quiet. Though the road surface isn't great. So far we've been racing a little over 15 minutes. It's been fairly quiet. My strategy, as usual, is keep quiet during the first half of the race. I mean, I'm an aggressive racer. I love attacking and trying to get away from the front, so I haven't got a great sprint. But I don't believe in destroying other people's races. Often the people I'm racing against have only had a few races in their legs, and it's a bit crazy for some lunatic to go off the front, attack. Others are chasing them to get spat out the back within the first couple of laps. So I'm just waiting patiently. And though that's about to change. My original plan was to wait to the 20-minute mark and launch an attack. But somebody has decided that because the racing is fairly quiet, they will offer a preem for, you'll hear the whistle fairly shortly, and the first pass the post next time will win $20. As soon as I hear that whistle, I think, aha, it's a great time to attack. It's the best chance to rip the bunch apart. The sprinters will do all the work to get to win, and I'll get the chance of getting a break. So I'm sitting here following Callum's orders, waiting for something to happen, and then suddenly Callum's moving up. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll just cover it to see what happens. And then Callum just slows down, so I don't. I just ramp up the speed again and get it off the front. I get a break pretty quick. I'm surprised that nobody seems to be chasing at the moment, so I'm just putting in an effort, just widening the gap. Sort of glance back here, see they've got a decent gap, and I'm still going. My heart rate is getting up a little bit. Consider 165 to 170 for a little while, but I don't want to go over 170. I generally sort of stop riding around then. So come around that corner, I'm thinking, yep, got the frame sign up. Now calm down a little and just keep the pace at something you can manage for 20 minutes, because that's how much longer I want to be solo from here. I'm quite happy, but I didn't notice Ron MacArthur, who I've raced against for the last 5 years, come sprinting across the gap, dragging another rider with him. This is the older Callum, who's been racing just this season with us. And I'll let Ron roll through at the moment. The finish line, I know I can outsprint Ron. Well, I usually can. So just ramp up the speed a little bit, but wasn't expecting that side over sprint from Callum. But he went past me standing still when I was doing 47 kilometres an hour. Callum's quite happy, I think, with the sprint, with the win. He looks back and just calms down, and me and Ron both know this is not the end of it. We just want to keep going. So Callum's momentum's got him up the road a little bit, and we pick him up fairly quickly. This is the headwind section of the course, so that's where I attacked before. I was quite happy attacking into that. As we pick up Calm, that's Gina on the left who's racing in E grade and is currently in second place. I come through. Calm Island. Try and keep the pace up. This is the section of the road's a little bit of crosswind. Ron's got a little bit of protection on the inside of me, but see he rolls through to take his turn. You're doing reasonably well. About this time, I think the bunch realised we weren't sitting up and had to start working hard to chase us. Coming down into the final corner now, and I'll lose space distance to Ron. He just flows through that, and I just accelerate up and roll through and take my turn. Callum seems to have been lagging behind. I don't know if it's the speed through the corner or we're just the pace we're just punching is a little too hard for him. And my heart rate's dropped down now from 170 last lap to 160 this lap, so going flat out, and this is the pace I should be able to maintain for 20 minutes, maybe. Okay. And you should be able to see just in the distance the bunch chasing. Looking at speed, probably not going hard enough, but all over. Let Ron come through, and you slot him behind Callum. Still thinking that this time we've got a chance. The three of us can get away if we just need to get young Callum there to do some work, and we'll just see how we go. Drop the wheel there, but I'm slowly picking up, and if you can see, still got a reasonable gap. Seems to be a little bit of tailwind down the start-finish straight, so it's swung around from the beginning. Not really doing an effort, and here comes the bunch. Caught us. We're all doing what, 26, 27 kilometres an hour at the moment? No big surprise. But they do look a little tired from the chase, and there's a couple of riders missing. swing through to now what is a cross headwind, and yep, look, Ron's got a gap, so off the two of us go again. Yep, mustn't have been worked hard in that first break because we're off on our second little adventure. Now, if you're wondering about these weird and wonderful angles, the camera's Insta360 R1 with a 360 mod that's attached to my skewer on my front wheel, so I've only really got two angles, looking in front of me and looking behind. I mean, let's give it a little more views. And here we go. Bill's brought the bunch back to us. So graded racing, particularly with a regional club like Peel, is a little different to the American type of structured racing. You don't start in Cat 5 and work your way up to Cat 1. We have the club has 5 grades, A to E, and basically is graded by your ability. E grade is generally the younger riders, or the older ones. I mean, as I said, this one's D grade. You've got 3 men here who are over 60. At 60, I'm the youngest. Ron's, who's on the front at the moment, is 2 days shy of his 70th birthday. I said we had young Callum before, who's an under 13 rider. Some women who haven't raced before, or they haven't got a great deal of racing experience. And some men. Generally, if you're fit, you're young, and you've ridden a lot in bunches, you'll get pushed into C grade to start with. But if you haven't got that experience, or you aren't that fit, you'll end up in D. And then you can work your way up. It's a lot of cases of you can promote yourself when you feel necessary, unless the club handicapper goes, well, you're just going to, well, you're just you're just too strong for that grade. One of the stories goes back when we were racing the Motorplex. We had a young guy who came up and said, I want to race B grade, and they said, fine. But we're combining A and B grade together, so it's going to be a bit tough. You sure you want to race it? Can you race at C grade? And he said, no, my friend said I'll be fine in B grade. So, Motorplex, 1.2 kilometre criterium course that's open. You can watch what's going on. And within the first couple of laps, an A grader had gone off the front of the combined bunch. There's only 5 A graders and about a dozen B graders there. And the A graders were just keeping on. They weren't working hard. The other 4, and B grade were just sitting on the wheel, not doing anything. So the young guy decides that he'll go across to the lone leader. And very quickly, the two just built up got a gap in the field. They were half a lap in front. And the A grader then sort of said, well, that's enough, I can win. And the young guy went, no, that's not. I'm going to keep going. So he then proceeded to lap the field and then to take out the bunch sprint. Let's just say that Ben O'Connor, who now races with AGR Citroën, was never allowed to race a B grade race ever again. Okay, we're still just rolling around, relatively rolling around. We seem to just drop speeds every now and then here into the low 30s, but the average speed for C grade criterium, D grade criterium, depending on numbers, it's probably around 35 kilometres an hour to 38, depending on the course, the number of riders, a little bit of the wind. This one, as I said, with less than a dozen riders, was going to be one of the slower ones. But sometimes we just seem to dawdle, because nobody really wants to take up the reins and charge around the front. And I'm busy thinking, okay, so how do I win this race? For me, I'm a bit more of a guts and glory guy. If I can't win, I'd like to die trying, or explode trying. So here we come, down. And if you notice on the left, should be a 2 laps to go board that's held up. So this has got me thinking, okay, how am I going to win this race? I'm not going to beat Callum in a sprint, so attack with a lap to go. I've did it before and we've got a reasonable gap. If they hesitate again, I've got a good chance, and this time I can just empty the tank. So it was do it in this, which is really here. And sort of what was the headwind section. Or do I just wait and tack down here into which is a little bit of the cross headwind at the moment? So this is where we'll slow down, but then again, I have to get out, get through that second last corner, which is probably the most technical one on the course, because it's the only one that's a little bit more than 90 degrees, and then belt down and with a little bit of a cross tail into what is now a tailwind finish. And I was thinking, I'll just wait and see. I might go a little bit earlier than before. Let's see. It's all a case of being patient. Or maybe not patient enough, as you'll see. Yeah, raise my right knots through the final corner. There's now a little gap between the back few and the front three, so I cover that and then decide, well, this is a good time to attack and really put the pressure on. Well, I didn't realise at the time was how fast Callum covered my attack. I thought I actually had a gap. When I glanced over my shoulder, I could see the guys in about third or fourth wheel, and there was a decent gap, so I just kept hammering out this corner and just putting on the pressure. And just kept putting it. Not until about now, where I go, oops, yep, everybody's on my wheel. Okay, what do I do now? Rethink the plan. At this stage, my heart rate's slowly coming down. I don't mind sitting on the front, at least I can see. It gives me the chance to react to the attacks coming from behind. And we're just cruising down here, just waiting to see what's going to happen. And then I set into a corner and Ron decides to go. I can follow his initial acceleration, get close. We're going, and that's it. Suddenly nothing. My legs just went from me. So discretion is a better part of valor, and just drop back. Ron railed through that final corner, took the win. Callum started a little bit out of position and finished second. And that's really it. That's all. Okay, so if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you.